Welcome to our off-grid cabin in the woods. We started building this house about 6 months ago. We originally bought the property, which is 70 acres, a year and a half ago when my husband knew that he was going to be medically released from the military. So we knew that me being a stay-at-home mom and him about to lose his job, we needed to come up with a new lifestyle, new way of living. So we thought, well, what could we do that you know, he doesn't have to be away from the house all the time, and I'm home with our daughter and, you know, wanting to have more children. So what sort of things could we change, and what sort of life could we have without him working anymore? So we decided to look for property in New Brunswick, Canada, because land's pretty cheap down there, and that's where my husband's from. And we found, yeah, the 70 acres that we bought about a year and a half ago. So we found it and we bought it. And then in March this year, we ended up being sent down here with the military for my husband's final 2 months, March, April, May. Yeah, he was done May 1st. So we moved down here the middle of March, I think it was. And it was like so much snow everywhere. So we had to have somebody come in with a big tractor and plow our roadway in to where we had our camper waiting for us here on the land. So we had to snowshoe in the first couple days, and then somebody came with a big tractor and a snowblower, and they snowblowed the whole area into where the camper was, and then all around the camper. So we moved some of our stuff in and ended up staying with his parents, like on and off, my husband's parents on and off, while we waited for the weather to get warmer, because we just couldn't do a lot while we were here. And yeah, well, we were living in the camper, and then we would just kind of go there to warm up and get away from here for a few days on and off, because it was just so much snow everywhere. And then finally by May, the ground was good enough that we started our foundation. And what we used was a screw pile foundation. So we had some professionals come in and do that for us. They laid the whole foundation for where we were going to build. And our footprint for the foundations was just under 1,000 square feet, but our home's actually only 560 square feet. We just built a really big deck on the front of the house, and that's on the screw pile foundation. So that was back in May. We had that done, and then when the weather started to warm up a little bit more, we started building probably in June, and my husband and I built this house from the ground up by ourselves with the help of, well, his friend came I think twice, and his father came 3 times. Other than that, like I said, we hired someone to do the foundation because we couldn't do that, and we hired someone to do our roof. And other than that, we did everything. And the person we hired literally just put the metal on. Like, we had already put the trusses and done all that ourselves. They just came and put the metal on. So our cabin is fully off-grid. We're just over a quarter mile from our roadway. We have like a driveway that was already built because this land was cut maybe 20 years ago. And when they came in to cut it, they kind of built that little roadway, and the roadway goes quite deep into the land, which is awesome. Like I said, here's our cabin. It's got the metal roof, green. We picked forest green metal roof, which was installed by someone. We also had we have a wood stove. That's how it's heated. The only source of heat in the house right now is wood stove, which was installed by a professional as well. We bought these windows at a warehouse, and we got them really cheap. Each window was, I think, $160. This door here, beautiful, nice door. I got it secondhand we had major floods last year in New Brunswick here, and somebody's camp kind of got flooded, and so they were just going to tear it down, and they sold all the good materials that were left in the house. That door is one of the things I picked up. It was $100 for that door. Beautiful exterior door. And then we have 5 of these windows right here. So 3 on this side over here for the bedrooms, 1 there which is in the kitchen, and 1 in the bathroom. I think they were $160 each. We've been able to save a lot of money doing this build, like building it ourselves. And then when we had the guy do the roof, he literally just put on the metal. All he did was strap the metal on. We built all this up here, all that, whatever that is, I forget. But my husband did all that. And yeah, we've pretty much done everything. I did the skirting. I finished off that skirting earlier, what was it, last month? I finally got it all completed. So, and that was just, my husband bought a big, huge lift of pine boards to do inside the house. And then the weather started to get really cold really fast, and we ended up with a ton of snow really early in the year. So we decided to use some of the pine boards to create the skirting because that was something that we needed done right away. So I cut it all to size and completed the skirting all around the house. Inside, we've just been working at it slowly. Now that we're, you know, fully moved in, we're probably not going to do much for the winter. We worked real hard over the summer and fall, spring, summer, and fall to get the house done and livable. And now we're in it and we're comfortable and we're decorated for Christmas, and probably just going to leave it like that until, I don't know, maybe the spring of next year, and then we'll start the addition. So the whole deck over here is going to become an addition, and it will turn into the living room and the living room and dining room, I suppose. And then inside where we have our kitchen, it's basically our kitchen, living room, dining room, everything at once this year. But next year it'll be just the kitchen. Here's some firewood. We had our neighbor cut firewood for us because we did not have time this year to get it ready. So we've been going over to his property and hauling it over here. And in this tent over here is where we have most of our firewood right now, in that tent over there. And now we're bringing more over, and it's going to go in this big tent right here. So like I said, we own just over 70 acres. On each side of us is crown land, which is quite nice, and all behind us is crown land. In this way, deeper into the land, there's a little culvert with a natural spring that runs through it. We have a whole area over to this side, like way deeper in the land, full of pine trees, which is really cool. We got a tree stand way back there for hunting. Here's our burn barrel. We used it quite a bit in the summer. There's all our wood for the burn barrel and for our little fires out here. We have a fire pit. It was right in the middle of this area over here, kind of where that shade is. There was a fire pit built there. This is kind of falling apart now, but this was our outdoor shower in the summer. So we were living in the camper literally from March until October when we moved into the house. We were living in this camper. And so there was a bathroom in it, but we also used this outdoor shower we had set up, and it was way nicer than it is now. It's clearly kind of ruined from the snow, the bad weather. We've had a lot of crazy wind and rain, and it started to fall apart, so we started just kind of ripping some of those logs out and using them for other things. We, you know, living out here, we don't have the same bills as other people. We don't have a mortgage. We've built this with our own money every month that we had saved up, and, you know, any extra money month by month that we had, we used to build it. We don't have a heat or electricity bill because we have wood stove only. That's the only source of heat. The solar panels we bought when we were still in Ontario on sale at Canadian Tire for like 60-70% off. So we got a good deal on them. And then the battery bank and stuff we have inside, I'll show you next. We picked up as we could once the house was built. We were just running off an old battery system in the camper for a long time, and then we upgraded when we moved into the house. So there's the chimney for the wood stove. All this deck here will be opened up next year and made into the house. So yeah, we don't have a septic, we don't have like a heat, hydro, water, you know, electricity. We don't have any of those bills. We don't have the mortgage. So we do have things that are necessary to us. Some people may think not necessary, but to us it is. We have over here a side-by-side with a plow on it. Like I said, our laneway to get out of here is just over a quarter mile long. So when we moved here, we bought this side-by-side with a plow. And you can do a lot of things on this side-by-side. We can go through our land. Like, we have 70 acres, so you can't just walk through it with a 4-year-old easily. So we got this to putt around with. We can go see animals. We can take it fishing to get fish for supper. And this plow has been amazing in order to plow the driveway and all this area. You can see we've been plowing it. It's a pretty big area all around here. We also plow out to the back of the house, in behind there, because we have a lot of animals that come through there and a trail cam that watches them. We have a truck. You can't live out here without a truck, that's for sure. We're way out in the country. Our road half the time is hardly even plowed properly, so we got a truck for everything. I mean, we use this all the time. And the camper, because that's what we lived in. So we've had the camper for a couple years now. We bought it just to have in Ontario. We were living on an Air Force base, and we just wanted to get out of the the base and out of the city a lot of the time, so we bought this camper and we would just take it and go camping, and then we ended up needing it because we lived in it fully for 6 or 7 months, so it really came in handy. But here's so here's our solar setup to some extent. Oh, and for these propane tanks are for our oven. So we have a solar fridge and a propane oven cook stove. So we have two. We don't want to run out mid-cooking and not have an extra backup. So this is our 100-pound propane tanks. And this little black thing here, this is the ventilation for our batteries. We have the batteries in a box inside the house, and they need to be vented outside. So that's the ventilation system for them. So that way there's no fumes or whatever going into the home. It's being vent out here. So we bought these brackets at an off-grid store where we've been buying most of our appliances and stuff. And we have the panels just up on these. It's kind of, I know it seems like a bad spot to have your panels with the roof and then the snow and ice and everything falling off, but that's the way it has to be because the sun, like that's just the way the house is pointing most of the day. The sun is coming literally from this side of the house all the way around, comes all the way around here and over to here by evening, which is just the other side of the panels. And then at night it sets over on that side, which is also why we built our bedrooms. All of our bedroom windows are on this side of the house. So the sun is not pointing there until nighttime, and then it goes down pretty early anyway. So that was pretty smart. But this, I know, it just kind of happened to work out that way. Probably, we weren't originally planning on putting the solar panels on the house, I think is what it actually happened here. But then we ended up mounting them on the house because it was really expensive to buy like a pole or something to mount right here. I mean, it was going to be thousands of dollars to get something to stand these on, and so we just didn't have that this year. Maybe we can move them off the house next year or in a couple years, but for now this is where they're staying. And we just have snow blockers up top there to break up the snow and ice so huge chunks don't fall on the solar panels. I'll take you inside the cabin. So, you know, forgive the mess and the fact that it's half finished. But like I said, it's just been my husband and I, and we've gone through 2 miscarriages in the time that we've been building this house. We've had health issues. There's been a lot of stuff go on. So we haven't been able to finish the house, but it's definitely livable and we love it. And we're proud of what we were able to accomplish in a short six months. So let's go in. Hi, Sam. So the Christmas tree, that's a new tree. We had actually sold our fake tree when we moved here, thinking, oh yeah, we'll get real trees from now on. We have 70 acres, lots of pine trees on it. But no, once we got the wood stove in here, we realized a real tree would just be dead instantly. It's too hot in here with that wood stove. The wood stove we got is a Pacific Energy wood stove. It's awesome, really good for giving. I think it can do up to 1,500 to 2,000 square feet, and our house is only 560, so we usually have to have a window open. These little fans are amazing. They just sit on the top of the wood stove, and they just work just by the heat. No power, nothing. They just sit there and the heat gets them spinning, and they push the heat throughout the house here for us. This is the bathroom. Here's our solar fridge. So it only uses 50 watts to run this fridge and freezer. And it's a good size. It's pretty amazing. We got it at an off-grid store near Fredericton in New Brunswick. Not much in it, but see, there's the freezer. Just 1 sec, sweetheart. And the fridge. I mean, it's a real good size. And it keeps things really, really cold. We actually have to turn it down. This countertop was given to us by one of Jeremy's friends, so he just built a little stand for it. Right there, see, it's on. And put the countertop up for us. Here are some cupboards. Where I got that main door that I told you I had, the main door. I also, secondhand from somebody whose camp got wrecked in the floods, and they were selling off stuff. This cabinet, all the cabinets in here are from them. So is my kitchen sink, which is over here. Double wide sink. Awesome. These are all clean dishes, don't worry. There's my sink. I love it. It's an amazing sink. So great. And here's the propane cooktop, propane oven. Big oven in here. We've cooked a big roast in here before. Lots of space. It's awesome. Propane oven. And then we just have the bedroom. So my bed was made until they decided to wrestle on it. Really spacious rooms. Kind of got a bunch of random stuff in them right now, but... And here's Sam's room. We have a couch in here because it just wouldn't fit in the living room with all our other stuff at the moment. And here's our bathroom. So we don't have running water in the house, but we do have a normal flush toilet. We just pump the water into the back and flush it. All our water jugs. Here's my washing machine. I haven't used it yet. I gotta get a few more pieces for it I found we're missing. Another cabinet in here. My shower. We've got this new shower tub put in. We actually put it in. And here is the shower head up here.
And here's a little...
It's pretty amazing. You just put the bottom of it in a bucket of water and turn it on. This part here, it's a pump. And it'll pump. We just warm up our water on the wood stove, put it in here, put that in it, and then it'll pump it out at the top of the shower head, just like a normal shower. It's really awesome. And our sinks to wash your hands and stuff is just one of these. You just turn it on, wash your hands, brush your teeth.
And this.
And for my kitchen sink to do dishes, I just pour a bucket of warm water that I warmed on the wood stove as well, and then drain it. All the lights in here either battery powered or run off the solar. Like this light we have right here in the bathroom. It has a 13 watt energy efficient light bulb in it. And we have a cord running along the floor over to the solar panels. We have a cord running along the floor there under the carpets to the solar panels. The batteries are inside this box, so this is what I was showing you, the ventilation on the outside is for. So they're in there, and so they can't be venting in the house, and they vent straight outside. And then it connects right here to the inverter. And up here to the charge controller. The solar panels run to the charge controller. So here are the batteries. There's two of them. They're 420 amp hour 6-volt batteries. Deep cycle. These, so like I said, they're 6 volt, but they're run in series to make them 12 volt. And both the batteries and solar panels are connected directly to the charge controller. So that's our off-grid cabin deep in the woods of New Brunswick, Canada. Thanks for coming along and having a look at what we've done. Like and subscribe if you like this video, want to see more. We're gonna, like I said, next year we'll be opening up the addition. This year we're just gonna continue with everyday things, you know, collecting wood. We're going down to the spring and collecting our water. Just, you know, normal things. We don't always show all that stuff because it seems like it'd be kind of boring if we showed it all the time, but you know, stay along with us. And in the spring you can watch us do the addition and finish up the inside of the house. Thanks.